everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're back on the dev server and it's time to have a look at another new German vehicle. This is the Sd.Kfz.222. This is the German version of this. There is also a Chinese version which we'll be having a look at in a different video. So the 222 comes in as a little armoured car, obviously more of a scout reconnaissance vehicle, but it has access to the 20mm KWK-38, which you can see at the top here. It also has access to a 7.92mm, which is sat for the commander to use, and the commander can also use the main armament, so if your gunner gets taken out, you still are fine. You also have the driver here, encompassing the whole three-man crew, so you can do some pretty cool stuff with the vehicle if you can get hull down and covering one of the general crew members. The vehicle is powered by a 90 horsepower engine because it's only 5 tons, so you can move around at a pretty decent click in it, and also the model itself is just absolutely beautiful. They've put a lot of effort into this one. I think it looks really nice, and with like the engines running nowadays in the hangar for some reason, I think it looks pretty good as well. Don't really know why they have decided to do that, but I suppose it makes sense. I'm just worried about the fuel economy on the thing. But the Sd.Kfz.222 comes in with pretty much no armor, so only 14.5 and 30 on the front. Everything else is only 8 and so on, so you'll just be able to pierce it with pretty much anything that you can find, which is not going to be good for it. Also, you do get access to the EVGA. This is the HVAP for the 20mm, and the reason why stuff like the Panzer IIs are so deadly compared to some of the other vehicles. The EVGA is really good and can just annihilate stuff as it goes. Does get artillery support, which for a 1.7 vehicle is going to be super strong, and also because it's 1.7, it has a ton of lineups around it as well. The Panzer IIF, the Panzer IIC, then also the Panzer 38T that you can bring in, a lot of the premiums out of there. The 150mm, the Panzerjäger, the 2519, and also the 221, which of course is the squeezeball little one that you can bring in too. So even the flak Panzers can be brought in as well, just as additions to this lineup, and the Panzer IV. It's a good little starter vehicle for people just to kind of roam around and have a good time with, and just quicken up the pace of the battle, which a lot of these German vehicles do. Germany is one of the nations which a lot of people start with in the game, and it's hard to blame them because of the simple fact that there's just so much on offer for them, and it seems to just get more and more crazy as time goes on. And this is another vehicle which is kind of added to the mix for that, where you just have so many options to just have a great time in. The 222 is fast, it's mobile, it's got a nice gun, it's got pretty much everything you would want from a starter vehicle, a nice autocannon and some other features which are super nice. So hopefully people will enjoy this one. It also, as I said, doesn't get affected as much by mod or anything like that anymore, which is pretty good for it. And it's multi-role, so you can take out planes, you can take out pretty much anything around the place with the HVAP rounds. The only issue you're going to have is the fact that there isn't a ton of ammo in a clip, so you only have like 10 rounds. So you better use those 10 rounds wisely. Usually, in my experience, using stuff like the Panzer IIC or the Panzer IIF, what ends up happening is you use a magazine or a clip every time that you kill a target, reload, and then reset. So pretty much every 6 seconds you can kill a new target, and you just have to keep going from there over and over again. If you come up against a big bruiser like a T-34, you're obviously going to struggle. But luckily with this thing being so low BR, that's generally not going to happen. So I don't think many people are going to have to worry about that. If you do end up coming up against these things, unfortunately, since you are classed as an AA in the game and also a rank 1, you don't get scouting, so you are limited in up tiers to be generally useful. So it's much better to take other things like the 2342 instead of this. You can still kill stuff like the transmission on T-34s, but don't be surprised if you don't do a ton of damage to them because of the simple fact that you just can't pen them like a lot of other vehicles. But this is one I've been looking forward to for a long time. It's an iconic World War II vehicle. It's one which always finds itself in military games, and finally it's here in War Thunder, which is just wonderful to see. Even though it'll have limited use, I think it's just great to see such an iconic vehicle, and over the last year or so we've had so many of them added. It's just been absolutely wonderful. And also the little animation on the 20 is quite nice as well. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Millie Draper, Juan the Panda, Nick R. Kupila, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie B. Young, Peter Grayling, Jerry Provolt, Bareen, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, Derek R. and Lafouche for supporting the channel.